when I saw the trade, my first thought was Dallas must know something that we don't know.
I've been saying that.
They must know something. They must have some intel or something. Luka's been dealing with a calf, right? Like, I'm like, they must have some intel or something that we don't quite know.
Draymond Green reacts to the AD and Luka trade. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
Anthony Davis is a perennial all-star, a top 75, and everyone acting like he's nobody, but nonetheless, I think it was very shocking. I personally was at the Warriors poker charity night when the trade went down, and I'm Steph's 2 tables behind me, and Steph goes, "Draymond, you see this?" I'm like, I had heard like the Warriors were looking at making some trades and all of that. So
trades like they
he goes, "You see this?" And I'm like, "See what?" He liked the trade. I said, "They did it?" I'm thinking he talking about is something that just came up with us.
Yeah.
He like,
go to Detroit.
Luka and AD. I said, "Huh? What?" I walk around this table. He showed me the phone. I'm like, the question everyone had, is this real? Exactly. I look closer like, it's from Shams.
Yeah.
It's real.
I ain't gonna lie, when I seen that, it took me about an hour or two to process it. I had random notifications that they were from like fake X accounts and just random miscellaneous accounts that post a lot of fake news. But once I seen it on ESPN, Bleacher Report, then, Shams, of course, I was like, okay, so this really happened. So people are still surprised by this. That's why it's just so much randomness going on. Like, did LeBron James know about it? Did he trade AD? I personally think he may have had an idea that if something was going to happen, it may have involved AD, but to this capacity, maybe Bron didn't know. So things are up in the air as far as this trade, but again, everyone was shocked.
It's real.
It come from Shams. You could bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah.
It's real. Man,
it's a real one.
I was at a loss. I'm still at a loss for words.
I'm still like AI generated or like for real? Like it still hasn't hit. I think now it's starting to hit. Everybody's saying they farewells. But when you heard about the trade, like, why do you think the Mavericks would do a trade like this?
I think a couple reasons. Number one, where were you? I feel like this is one of those things that it's such a big deal that you'll always remember where you were when it happened. Where were you when this trade went down?
I feel like I was I was chilling with my girl and she showed me.
That's crazy.
And I called bullshit. I was like, man, that's some bullshit. And then I looked and I was like, Shams.
Shams.
It's over.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah.
So,
I was chilling, laid back, about to go to sleep, watching a little bit of TV. And again, I started seeing those notifications come in from other accounts that are not official, NBA partnered websites. So I'm like, okay, this got to be fake because I know this account posted some BS before. But again, once I opened up the gram, went to ESPN, went to Shams, and that's when I seen like, okay, it's official. So I was just chilling, laid back, watching LeBron James go off on New York. And shortly after that, AD's on a plane to Dallas and Luka's on his way to LA. So very shocking.
When I look at this trade, I think it happens for a couple of reasons. Number one, as great as Luka Doncic is, he was not drafted by the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, the current general manager.
That's true.
And so, as great as he is, general managers have in their mind how they see fit for a team that they construct and how they want it to work, how they see it working, how they see themselves getting to it and winning a championship. Now, the first thing people will say is, but Luka just went to the finals last year, so they close. And I'll say, I agree. Luka did go to the finals last year. But what I'll also say is, sometimes making it that far to the Western Conference Finals, sometimes that can be a little fool's gold.
Yeah, because you got to think other teams are going to get better. Look at the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant's back. He didn't put the weapons down, stop clubbing, and you got a top team. The Houston Rockets, great team. The Denver Nuggets, always going to be great. OKC Thunder, looks like they're starting their run as being a dominant team in the Western Conference. So I can see it being fool's gold with Dallas. Things just clicked perfect for the Dallas. They started winning games in the playoffs, and it could be fool's gold. It's not a guarantee that you'll be able to do that again. So maybe they were like, you know what? This was their time to win it all, but maybe they had plans. And when you do switch management, GMs, they have an idea of what they want their team to look like. So I can see that being a reason why, Luka's gone.
Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Was it 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Barely has sniffed the playoff since. Sometimes it can be a little fool's gold when you make it that far. No,
I agree.
I don't think Dallas was fool's gold. I think they made great trades. Mid-year last year, acquired P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, who helped boost their lineup and put them in contention to compete for a championship. And they got there. They got close. Weren't quite able to close it. So now, when you look at that, as that general manager, you're going back to the drawing board and you're saying, what do we need to do in order to get over the hump? Quite honestly, I don't think anyone in the world would think the thing to do is trade Luka Doncic.
And that's where the money comes in. Do we really want to commit 345 M's to Luka? So why not get rid of him now, especially if there's rumblings of him may wanting to leave in the next year or two? So you kind of got to get ahead of it, but still, I'll take my chances. Luka, he looked sad and disappointed, didn't look like he wanted to go. Reports are saying that he bought a $12 million house, so that doesn't seem like someone that was intending on leaving. So again, a lot of conflicting reports as far as why this trade happened with Luka.
I don't think anyone does that. But when I saw the trade, my first thought was Dallas must know something that we don't know.
I've been saying that.
They must know something. They must have some intel or something. Luka's been dealing with a calf, right? I'm like, they must have some intel or something that we don't quite know. So that's one of my first thoughts. Yeah, second thought is naturally superstar players don't get traded in their prime at 25.
In the middle of the season.
I'm not even sure if he's considered in his prime yet, right?
He's still getting to it.
At 25, and you're right, at the trade deadline, big trades like that.
That's crazy.
Don't normally happen at the trade deadline. And so when I look at it, I'd say Nico Harrison, who's the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, for those that don't know,
unfortunately,
when I look at the makeup of his team, he gets a Kyrie Irving that everybody's afraid of. Everybody think Kyrie's off his rocker. Everybody think he won't be able to be talked to. However, due to being the guy at Nike for so many years, Nico already had a relationship with Kyrie, and he thought to himself, I can deal with Kyrie.
And that actually turned out being a great signing or trade, or however Kyrie got there, just by having a relationship with him at Nike. So that was good for Nico, but I don't think you're going to be able to move past this Luka trade. The media is destroying Nico Harrison. Everybody on major platforms are talking junk why would you get rid of a generational talent? So maybe it's more to the story. Again, that can go back to where Luka's meeting with the team, not wanting to sign back with the team and go ahead and trade me now. But again, he invested a lot of money in a property. He looked sad and disappointed when he was on the Lakers bench. So again, it's just so much going on with this Luka and AD trade, and eventually the truth is going to come out.
So I'm going to go get Kyrie. And guess what? It's been stellar. Kyrie's been stellar. He's been locked in. So operation successful. So there's that. You didn't give up a ton to get him, right? So operation successful.
Super.
So now when I look at that, and then I take a step back and look at this trade, my first thought is, or second thought, here's a guy who you see the Lakers say, they're worried a little bit about AD's durability. They don't think he's a 1A guy.
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. But then you got Nico Harrison, who's like, y'all may not think he's a 1A guy, but what I know for sure is he's a 1A talent.
Yeah.
And so with my relationship with J. Kidd's relationship because he played, J. Kidd was on the coaching staff when they won the championship in 2020. Nuts. Jared Dudley's relationship with AD. I think we can get AD to play at that 1A level consistently.
That's going to be talent with AD. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Because he has 1A talent, but he has terrible injuries, random. 1 minute he can be good. The next minute running down court, getting a rebound. He's out for a week, out for a month, out for 2 weeks. So you start stockpiling those injuries. Maybe the Lakers are looking like, you know what? He's going to be up for a contract soon. Do we want to pay a 32, 33-year-old that much money? Or can we get Luka? It made sense to go for Luka, but how much did LeBron James know? A lot of people are saying he had no idea. He's saying he was shocked by it, but by having Rich Paul Clutch Sports, one of the most powerful sports agencies in the world, how don't you not know about this? That's the main thing. How were they able to keep this under wraps? So was it just Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison dealing with each other? The ownership group, Jeannie Buss and whoever owns the Dallas Mavericks. So they did a great job of keeping this under the wraps. If that is the truth that, none of the agencies and sports agents knew about this.
Yep. And I think that's the bet that they're making. But more importantly, the bet that they're making is if this ship is going to go down, if I'm going to go down, if I'm Nico Harrison, what I see is him saying, I'm going to go down with someone I trust, not necessarily someone that the GM before me trusts. And yes, Luka's a superstar. Yes, Luka's great. But Luka was never Nico's guy.
That's true.
And now Nico is bringing in his guy and saying, I'm going to swing for the fences. And if I fail, I fail. But I fell doing it my way. And you got to respect someone who's willing to take that stance.
And that's the thing, when you have a ownership change, that can be president of the team, general manager, whoever's making the player personnel decisions. They want to make their mark. They want to make their presence felt. So they may look insane or crazy now, but if they believe these individual players can make a difference, they're going to go for it. Even if you have a staple like a Luka, again, generational talent, 25 years old, main issue is just staying in shape. If that was the only issue, you don't get rid of a talent like that. But we'll see what happens moving forward with the Mavs, and we'll see if the Luka trade for AD was a great decision.